office made mistakes in this case. It was a breakdown of communication, and because of it, we have a very dangerous person on the streets.
Right now at 4, Harris County's new district attorney saying his office made mistakes that ultimately set free a man now wanted for sexual assault on the University of Houston campus. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa Hernandez. Andy is off today. Breaking right now at 4, Harris County DA Teare is promising change after a suspected rapist in custody was released. Teare sat down with our own Bryce Newberry this afternoon. Bryce joining us live downtown after a week of fear on the UH campus. Bryce.
Yeah, Lisa, District Attorney Teare made it clear that the system failed this rape survivor and admitting that his office needs to do better internally and externally when it comes to communicating with law enforcement agencies that are submitting charges. So the discussion with the DA comes after days of questions about how the suspected violent criminal was in custody and then released from jail less than 24 hours after he's accused of raping a UH student at knife point on the campus. So this is the latest version of events of how this all unfolded, at least according to the DA's office, and in a little bit more detail than we've been able to report throughout the week. So while officers patrolled UH after the sexual assault report, they came across Eric Brown acting erratically, according to DA Teare. That's when officers say he got aggressive and they had to tase him. So he got taken into custody, while officers mentioned he may have matched the description of the sexual assault suspect. After one prosecutor verbally accepted resisting arrest and assault on a public servant charges against suspected rapist Brown, Teare says law enforcement officers started writing up the paperwork, but didn't include anything in that paperwork that referenced him as a sexual assault suspect or a mention that they felt pain after their scuffle with him. For those reasons, the second prosecutor, who then reviewed the written paperwork, didn't have sufficient evidence and tried to reach out to that investigator from UHPD at least twice, but couldn't. So at that point, the charges had to be declined, which then set Brown free. And I told the DA I've been thinking a lot about the victim in this case, who likely thought that Brown was in custody after the university's announcement that he was. And also, according to the records, he was able to get access to her mail during that sexual assault and robbery. So he may have had some idea of where she lived. So I asked the DA, when serious situations like this are handled like this, what message that sends to rape survivors.
She's been failed so far. That's the message. And we can't go backwards. We've got to make sure that we get him off the street. We've got to make sure that we get the full measure of justice that she deserves so that no one else can be victimized by this guy.
The district attorney adds that larger law enforcement agencies like HPD and the sheriff's office know that there are special prosecutors for sex assault cases that are on call for situations like this. So now his office is reminding all law enforcement agencies that make arrests in Harris County of those resources as one way to prevent this from happening again. So the way that charges ultimately got filed in this case, according to the DA, is because one of those special sex assault prosecutors actually saw the UH rape on the news and then at that point reached out to UHPD knowing that they hadn't accepted charges to ultimately get the case moving forward again. The DA says that his office is now reviewing procedures internally. I've asked UHPD if they're doing the same. We're still waiting on a response, but we'll keep you updated. For now, reporting live downtown, I'm Bryce Newberry, KPRC 2 News.
Quite